You understand that whatever I do, it comes back to you and Mom. I don't want you to get hurt.
Since the last games, something's different. I can see it.
What can you see?
Hope.
Woo! The Hunger Games. Catching fire. Yes, I'm back, baby. With a review of The Hunger Games. It's a little bit later than I usually put them out. I got, a little caught up doing a bunch of different shit, but I did see the movie on time, so I don't know. I don't know why I care. Well, I saw it the day of release. Doesn't matter. So, Catching Fire. Okay, so people who've known me, and I don't say you people know me, so it's fine. I didn't like the first Hunger Games. I'm like, how is this popular? It's, it's boring, it's predictable, blah, blah, blah. This is stupid. I just did not like it. Didn't help the people I went with. I didn't, there was one in particular person I just could not stand, and they're like, I love that movie, so I kind of instinctually did not like it. It kind of got a bad taste in my mouth. Well, this one I saw by myself. It was pretty good. It was good. I would not say this movie's great or fantastic or blew me out of the water. One of the best movies yet. No, none of that. This is a good movie. You got all the original cast basically comes back unless they die, of course. And you got it's this sequel. This is a sequel. So people who have read the book, from what I'm told, this is basically pretty damn close to the book. Follows it much closer than, I guess, the original Hunger Games. I never read any of the books, so I'm just kind of like, whatever. So, anyways, the book. Or the movie, I should say. The movie's plot is, so, you got Jennifer Lawrence, who, she's playing as Katniss. Katniss, the, girl version of Legolas, I guess. You know what I mean? She's done. She's their version, I guess, of famous now. She kind of lives in a shitty home for being famous, which, kind of weird, but meh. So she's done. She won. I won the Hunger Games, whatever. And she's kind of living a lie right now, because they're like, oh, you and Peeta, you guys are getting married, right, and all that stuff. And they're like, you and her are doing all this stuff, and, that's all a sham. Peeta knows this by now. But she's also, that part of the story is just kind of bland, just like, oh, does she care about him, does she not? It was kind of relatable, though, in a way. Guys out there, come on. How many of you weren't shoved in the friend zone when you really had, feelings for a girl? You're just like, damn. And that's really where he's at. He has these strong feelings for her, and he's you start, as a guy who's been there, you kind of feel for him. You're like, you poor bastard. So I do have to admit, you felt for Peeta, but Katniss, you just kind of like, she doesn't want it. She's starting to notice this revolution going on around her. But the thing that really kind of sold me with her character was the fact that she actually has PTSDs. She actually has post-traumatic stress syndrome. And it was something, like, whoa, why would that sell you on her? Because it makes her way more human. You always see these movies where these people are killing people and, man, whatever, and they're, walking around, acting like nothing's going on, they're fine, ooh, yay. She is, waking up screaming at night, just, all freaked the hell out. The shit's bothering her, and it's starting to really bug her, though, is how many more people really, they care about what she's doing and not about, the people that are dying or the real world problems. I'm really starting to notice this. So you got that, and then, you have the president of the United States, for God's sakes. And he's kind of he's trying to, I guess, pacify her in a way. Because this revolution's starting up because some see it maybe as, she was trying to play it off as an act of love and not an act of defiance. Well, a lot of people are seeing it as an act of defiance. Say, no, I'm not going to kill him. Watch me disagree with you. Well, that's kind of blowing back now, and he's like, we're seeing districts all over the place starting to act out, they're starting to act up and do all this shit. and so we're gonna try to pacify you, not in like the way of killing, but try to make you one of us type of thing. And she's like, no, I don't want to do it. And it's kind of turned into this back and forth, and you really can see how she's becoming into, she doesn't want to be a leader though. And you can kind of see her becoming into one, but not really. The whole movie, she's like, no, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this. So eventually some circumstances happen. I won't get into them. But, they start blowing, the government starts blowing shit out of proportion, and eventually it ends up making a 75th Hunger Games, which, whatever, they have one every year, but this one gets even better in the sole fact of Jennifer Lawrence apparently now has to go back into it. Her and Peeta have to both go back, and all the old people who have, like all these old, mighty warriors who have won before and apparently keep training after they win because they just want to keep training. And so they all have to go back in. There's like 16 of them all going back into this weird, this one's more of a tropic and less of a forest thing. So it's more of a tropical island, not so much forest. So it's a little bit different scenery. Honestly, my memory of the first one's kind of shit, but it kind of seemed a lot like the first one when they get back into the games. But they made it way more interesting this time. It's not just, her hiding out for a long fucking time and then her taking out all these, it's not boring like the first one was. This one's pretty action-packed, and then it's more of a survival thing. And it's more graphic than the original. And all of these are good points. These are all good things. And then the last great thing about the plot, I have to say, has a one hell of an ending. For people who have not read the book, this kind of surprised me. They have a couple of, basically one twist I didn't see coming. I was just kind of like, whoa, that's, and, for people listening to the Movie Thing podcast, it was a surprising twist. It wasn't like, whoa, oh my god, knock me out of my seat type of twist. And it wasn't kind of one of those lame-ass twists where you're like, that really... This one was really kind of an interesting one. And it was like, oh, cool. And it had a pretty damn good ending. And of course it sets up for the sequel. And so I was just like, alright, I accept this. I accept this as a movie. I have to say though, the beginning, I think they spend a little, they kind of breeze through the whole part where they're actually in the Hunger Games. I kind of wish they would have spent a little bit more time doing the games part and not so much of outwards. But those are minor little nitpicks, really, of mine. I mean, it does not hurt the movie at all, the fact that they stay in the normal. You get to see how shit really is bad. And I actually think those are the more powerful areas, because when you get in the Hunger Games, it's just like, oh, that person died, fuck it, who cares? That type of mentality. But when you see someone getting beaten by a guard, some stormtrooper-looking motherfucker, you're just like, come on. You kind of want Katniss to go fucking kill some people, you know what I mean? So, the plot overall is great. I really enjoyed all the music and all the sound design, and the movie itself in IMAX looked fucking beautiful, especially when they get to the island. You're just like, I was rather amazed. So I give it that. You got the director of this film. He actually did not direct the original one, and I am so glad that they switched director from the original one. This guy is Francis Lawrence. Now, you may know his name from, he directed Constantine, and he also directed I Am Legend. And then he's going to be also directing the next two Hunger Games, so you better like him. You better like this movie, because he's directing the next two. He's really kind of into the more dark, because Constantine's dark, and so is I Am Legend. And I Am Legend's a pretty dark movie, but both... I Am Legend, for a fact, it's not so much just like plain dark, but it's also kind of emotionally powerful with what he got out of the actors. And I really believe he got that out of these actors, too. He got it out of Jennifer Lawrence and all them. He got it out of all these people. So I hand it to him. The writer is Simon Buffet. He's the one that wrote the screenplay. Well, he's one of them. There was another one that wrote, but, he's top credit. He wrote the screenplay for like 127 hours, and he's only writing for this one, so just let you know. He also wrote for the Full Monty, so he has quite a range of writing behind him. I can't really give too much credit to him personally. I mean, there's nothing in the script that was bad, but there was nothing out of it that, where there you had specific lines that were just delivered or even, there good. I think he made a decent, he just basically adapted the book. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just not giving too much credit. Acting wise, you got Jennifer Lawrence, she's Katniss, and she is an amazing and beautiful actress. She really sells it in this. I mean, you really can. You start to dislike your character a little bit. You come back to really like your character, and when she gives off this emotion, you really feel for that emotion. You really kind of feel for her character. So she did a great job. You have Liam Hemsworth coming back as a boyfriend, Gale. He's kind of a douche. I'm not gonna lie. His character, nothing against Liam, but his character's, he's the guy that all the, like the girl I saw the original with, she was like sitting there saying, "Oh my God, I hope she doesn't end with him." She was saying, she wants it to end up with him. Oh, maybe it's just a bad taste in my mouth from some chick drooling over this guy, but it was just like you really, as an audience member, you kind of don't vote for her to go with him because he's just he's supposed to be that pretty boy. I'm that pretty boy. Like, I don't vote for him. I don't. Yeah. Then you got Sandra Ellis. God, she has that long fucking name. Yeah, she plays as Greasy. Greasy. She's just some old lady. I don't know why I mentioned her. I actually thought it was somebody else. I'm sorry. You got Woody Harrelson coming back as Haymitch. Woody Harrelson, he did a great job, and he's basically just Woody Harrelson. I mean, honestly, he's just the same exact character he was in like Zombieland, where except for this one more alcoholic, but I think that's just his character is supposed to be alcoholic. And Woody Harrelson does a great job. He doesn't do anything special, but you can kind of see him. He has much bigger role in this movie than he did in the first one, which I was happy about. Josh Hutcherson. He plays as PETA, and he also has a much bigger and more important role in this one. In the first movie, he was really helpless, and it was kind of, it was just sad on his part. But, it's good to see him finally get a bigger role and not such, he doesn't have to be carried by Katniss the entire time type of thing. That was one thing that was just like, wow, this guy's pretty freaking worthless. The villain, of course, you got Donald Sutherland. He plays as President Snow. I think he does a pretty damn good job, where he's really kind of passive-aggressive about stuff. Like he doesn't straight up threaten Katniss as much. Just more like kind of just like, he's just, you better do this or else. He doesn't really say, or else I'm going to kill your whole family. Just, you never know what, it kind of has that mobster, like, you never know what might happen, huh? So he does pretty well. The surprise role in this, I have to say, was, drawing a blank right now. It was, God, I cannot think of his name. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, that was it. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He plays as the new game maker, the guy who runs everything. He has much more of a he comes off pretty menacing, but harmless. He's really a good strategist from what you're seeing when you first see him. You're like, oh yeah, this dude's, he kind of knows what's going on. He seems like he's the only one that really knows what's going on. So, you got, a pretty damn good cast there. So, I have to applaud the cast, I applaud the writing, I applaud the directing, and all the cinematography. This movie's a damn good movie. And I'd be an idiot to say suggest that you do not go see this in theaters. This is a must-see in theaters. This is a must-see. So, if I'm gonna get in rating style, this is, it's worth your ticket money. This is worth seeing as soon as possible. The hype is correct about this one. It's not bullshit. I really cannot find any flaws in this movie. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. 4 to 5 stars. And the only reason why it doesn't get a 5 out of 5 because you're like, well, Brandon, you said there was no flaws. It doesn't get a 5 out of 5 because I didn't walk out of the theater just like gushing over this. I have to really want to go see it again and again to make me really think that it's, a perfect movie. It's not perfect, but it was a damn good movie, and I think you would enjoy the ever living shit out of it. So that's it, everybody.